To be honest, I remember very little of my flight. It's all flashes, branches slapping my face, the ground shifting beneath my feet, the scrape of heather as I stumbled through it. All around me, I could feel the Martians, not physically, but in that strange invisible terror they carried, that heat ray of theirs. It didn't just burn bodies, it scoured the mind. It felt like a giant blade spinning above me in the dark, sweeping back and forth, waiting for its moment to strike me down. Somehow I made it to the road, somewhere between the Horsell crossroads and the town. I ran without aim. I think I was trying to outpace fear itself. Eventually, I just collapsed, emotionally, physically. I fell by the roadside, right near the bridge over the canal by the gasworks. And then, silence. I don't know how long I lay there. When I finally stirred, I sat up in confusion. For a few seconds, I couldn't make sense of anything. The fear was gone. Just gone. As if someone had peeled it off me like a heavy coat. My hat was gone, and my shirt collar had snapped open. Not long before, I'd felt only 3 real things in the world: the vast, cold emptiness of space, my own fragile existence, and the certainty of death. Now, just like that, something had shifted. The perspective changed. It was like my brain flipped a switch. Suddenly, I felt like myself again, like a man walking home from work. The flaming common, the chaos, the screams. Did it really happen? Or was it some kind of waking nightmare? I stood up, slowly and unsteadily, and walked across the bridge. My legs were like jelly. I imagine I must have looked drunk. At the crest of the arch, I passed a workman carrying a basket. A small boy walked beside him. "Evening," he said casually. I nodded dumbly. I wanted to speak but couldn't find the words. What would I even say? A moment later, a train passed over the Mayberry Arch behind me, a rush of lit windows and firelit smoke trailing across the sky like a serpent. Familiar, normal. Further along, a small group of people stood outside one of the houses on Oriental Terrace, talking idly at the gate. The scene was too normal. The little gabled homes, the laughter, the porch lights. Behind me, the world had caught fire. But here, nothing. I think that contrast broke something inside me. Sometimes I get this strange feeling like I'm watching life from outside my body, detached, removed. That night, it hit hard. The gasworks buzzed. Street lamps glowed. The people by the gate didn't even know what was happening. I stopped. "What's the news from the common?" I asked. The man looked at me, puzzled. "Aren't you coming from that way?" "There's people acting strange about it," said the woman beside him. "What's going on over there?" I hesitated. Then, "Haven't you heard the Martians? They're here." That made them laugh, kindly. "Thanks," the woman said with a smirk, and the man chuckled. I wanted to scream at them, but the words came out broken, muddled. They thought I was joking, or worse, insane.
Ow.
"You'll find out soon enough," I muttered, and moved on. When I finally reached home, I must have looked like a ghost. My wife jumped at the sight of me in the doorway. I staggered into the dining room, took a drink of wine, and sat down. The cold dinner was already served. It sat there untouched as I began to speak. I told her everything. "The Martians," I said, trying to sound rational, "they're sluggish, awkward. They might hold the pit. They might kill anyone who gets close. They can't move. They're stuck." Even as I said it, I could still feel the weight of their presence, the heat, the fire. "Don't, love," she said quietly, reaching for my hand. "Ogilvy," I whispered. "He may be dead, lying there right now." She didn't laugh. She didn't doubt me. Her face had gone pale, lips tight with fear. Seeing her that way stopped me cold. "They may come here," she said softly, again and again. I tried to reassure her. I poured her some wine, spoke with a confidence I didn't truly feel. "They can barely move," I told her. "Ogilvy said Earth's gravity is 3 times what it is on Mars. They weigh more here. Martian would feel like his own body was made of lead." And that was true, at least partly. It was a common belief. The newspaper said as much the next morning. But what none of us accounted for, what I failed to see even then, was that Earth's atmosphere is rich in oxygen, far more invigorating than Mars. That oxygen made up for the extra weight, gave them life, power, and more importantly, No one thought about machines, what their technology might allow them to do without physical strength at all. I didn't know any of that yet. So I kept talking, kept convincing myself. I needed to believe they wouldn't spread. I needed her to believe it too. "They've made a mistake," I said. "They're scared. They thought they'd find an empty world, or at least a stupid one. They weren't ready for us." I looked at my wine glass. "A single shell," I said. I dropped into the pit. That's all it would take. Now, game over. That's how far gone I was, still clinging to the idea that reason or artillery could solve this. I remember that moment vividly. The wine, the pink-shaded lamp, the soft clink of untouched silver on a white tablecloth. My wife's anxious eyes. The warm room that, for a short while, felt like safety. At the end of the meal, I lit a cigarette. I cracked some nuts. I cursed Ogilvy's rashness. I even mocked the Martians. "They're clever," I said, "but they've trapped themselves. Like some proud old dodo on the edge of extinction. Peering out of his nest at a group of sailors landing on the beach and saying, 'We'll peck them to death tomorrow, my dear.' I didn't know it then, but that was the last civilized dinner I'd eat for a long, long time. And if you're still here, still standing, still listening, it's the time to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Tap the notification bell, because the next episode isn't just about what we remember, it's about what we lose in episode 8. Friday night exodus, the quiet suburbs turn to panic, and the highways become rivers of fleeing souls. Not everyone makes it out. The Martian War continues.